Hello, everybody, and welcome to Norm, the Cheers/Winning Time podcast. We felt like we really needed to start the recording because we've done like 5 minutes of pure gold about the HBO series, very loosely based on the true story of the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty, Winning Time.
The docu-farce.
It really is like, it's such a weird show. I'm enjoying it, but I love the way it's made. I think it was cast brilliantly. Like, even so, there was some talk about the actor who played Kareem being like, well, they got him and he looked at like him, but he's a little weaker than the rest. He had a great episode this last week, and I know you have not caught up to it, but it's great. And it's so weird that Winning Time is trying so hard to be accurate with, like, this is exactly what the Forum Club looked like, and this is the stock film that they would have filmed this on, and this is exactly the way that, like, that Luke Longley, I know now I've got the wrong name, but this is the way his hair was parted on the side, and then they're just making up games and scores and deaths, and it's just so weird how they're committed to minute details. Like, oh, by the way, we're also going to pretend that Magic Johnson, fought in Vietnam, just for no particular reason. We're just going to pretend that happened.
It's so weird to take something that is so exhaustively documented. Like
it's just
80s Lakers, like
games. You can look it up in Google right now and be like, oh, they lost that game to Detroit. Nope.
Yeah.
And just little things like, oh, wow, the players voted to have Spencer Haywood not play in the finals? No, that never happened. It's just really weird. With a docudrama, I never know exactly where the line is, but I know where it isn't. Sports docudramas are like pornography for me. I can't define it, but I know when I see it. And this is not good. I mean, it is fun. It is good, but it's not accurate. When I say pornography, I think it's important to stress, I'm comparing it to the judge who said, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. And so I'm saying, I can't define when historical docudramas are wrong, but I feel when they are. And Winning Time, it's wrong. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep watching it, but I totally get if Jerry West goes full Will Smith on Adam McKay. I'm just saying that. If that occurs, I get it.
I'm really curious, and I say this as somebody who's kind of stalled out, but I'm going to jump back into the show. Mm-hmm. But I'm really curious. I feel like all of these fabrications and the sort of the way they're kind of playing fast and loose with the facts, there has to be a larger reason. And I haven't seen that. I mean, I'm not surprised that hasn't emerged yet because I'm still only a couple of episodes in. But I'm curious I'll be really disappointed if I get to 10 episodes and there isn't like a reason, a dramatic reason to do this other than to sort of increase salaciousness or like sort of episode to episode tension. I feel like there's got to be like a larger, like kind of raison d'etre for this thing to do this. If you're going to make it this way. So that's me saying I'm curious. I'm gonna see it through, but I'm gonna be furious if this is just to sort of like attract eyeballs, and I suspect it might be.
But that's kind of why I like it.
Yeah.
It's juicy in that way. I love the drama.
The thing of it is, though, and I get it, and that's why I'm enjoying it. I don't know that the things that they're changing are the juicy parts. It's like there's more than enough juice in the actual Magic Johnson truth, and there was the drama of, their coach almost dying and suffering brain damage and never completely coming back. Like, that happened. I mean, that really happened. They're not creating, something there that did not happen. But just, why are we pretending that Paul West had then struggled? I get you're adding some drama, but the actual drama seemed like enough. I don't know.
the thing I got from the first episode, and I'm curious to see if it carries through, which is something I've never seen in a show like this, is it seemed to highlight the evolving, like this, the Magic Jerry Buss relationship was like the first of its kind in American sports, between a superstar and an owner, and both like viewing each other as equals. And the idea that like sports is a partnership between your athletes and the people running the team. And that to me, I was like, that's, if you're going to play fast and loose with stuff, if that's the thing that they're exploring, I'm kind of cool with that, because that's got huge resonance.
They really give up on it though.
That's a bummer.
That was really kind of the heartbeat of the first couple of episodes. And now it's been very, very little of Magic and Jerry. Yeah. It's been very little. And part of it's because of the character arc with Jerry and his mom dying. And, that's all occurring. I'm sorry. How deep into it are you? We're season 9.
Remember,
or we're episode 9. And she's had cancer for 2 episodes and she's 90. I mean, I don't know who thought she was making a big comeback here, but
I had hope.
Have you seen Passion of the Christ? Because I don't want to ruin that for you.
Damn. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
No.
It's a sled.
No. Well, it's funny. I did tell a certain someone at home that the entire Buss family is full of lunatics, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, not in the worst way, but yeah, kind of fun lunatics. I can't speak for the Buss boys,
right?
Who, at the very least, do not seem to be tremendous businessmen.
No.
Yeah, but Dr. Jerry's an interesting dude.
Yeah,
he's an interesting fella.
Yeah.
All right. So, watch your winning time. Should we dive right into Cheers? Does anyone have anything they want to talk about this week? Other than things happening in the real world that don't need to be discussed, because I've actively been turning my phone onto silent all day and avoiding Twitter.
We fled.
All right, very good.
We fled to Mexico, not permanently, but we fled. Casual.
Yeah, just casual. Yeah, we're all right. Cheers. Season 4, episode 7, Too Good to Be For Real, which was oddly spelled with numbers. I really feel like maybe Cheers was ahead of the boy band craze of the 90s.
To be fair, I counted the title as one of my 80s moments because it gave me a lot of Prince's Nothing Compares to You energy.
Now, wait a minute. Nothing Compares to You. Was that the 80s or was that 1990? I feel like that was 1990.
I think the 90s was the Sinead O'Connor cover.
Oh, okay. I didn't think she covered it. I thought
it was a cover.
Prince wrote that and gave that to her because he did that several times. Manic Monday being one of the most prominent examples of him giving an artist a #1 hit. I thought she did the first big recording of it, and then later he did his own version of it.
Maybe.
But I thought she had the first one.
Maybe I have it backwards.
He recorded it in 1985 for his side project, The Family.
The Family? What was his side project, The Family? I've never heard this.
Really?
Was a Paisley Park band.
Yeah.
Included a bunch of guys from the time. Yeah.
I was completely unfamiliar with The Family. They were, I know, the Revolution and New Power Generation. I was not. I knew Morris Day in the time. Did not know about The Family.
He's not allowed.
I gotta look this up.
He's not allowed to tour under the name Morris Day.
What?
Because the Prince estate owns his name because it's part of Morris Day in the time.
Oh my God.
That's badass.
That's
Good evening, everybody. I'm
Mo Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, Morris Day. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Listen, we all saw what they did in the dressing room after the song contest. Morris Day got what he deserved. You can't throw that much shade in the dressing room.
That was all right. As much as I love Purple Rain, that was the scene where I'm like, who the fuck is doing that? Prince, come on. That didn't happen. Stop it. Like, even Darth Vader watched that and went, Jesus, that's a bit much.
Act like you've been there.
That was rough. All right. But yeah, here we are. So that's we got Tookie's 80s moment out of the way really quickly. My 80s moment is music too. Devo. Love dropping the Devo reference. As at that time they were not an old band, which was the joke, and now they are a very old band. God bless you, Devo. Nothing screams Devo. Devo might be the most 80s thing ever in an episode of Cheers. Devo is really right there. Dave, you want to get your 80s thing out of the way early?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go using the mail for a classified ad. Having a mailing address to respond for a personal, like, talk about like, and the idea that someone might respond legitimately and not be able to meet for months in the case of Mitch Wainwright. You'd have to accept that the time already built into the correspondence kind of allows for that fiction to settle in. So yeah, the mail as a vehicle for personal connection.
You guys know I have like 6 more 80s moments, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, we're. But we needed to get as tradition dictates, we have to get ours in before you steal all the 80s moments. This delights me so much. That's why that's the order, and you were required to go last every time. You tried to sneak a first one in here. So before we even get to the date, we had to get our 80s moments in.
This is the thing. Watching an episode, I thought this, realizing that like the lens through which Tookie views these episodes is so much less filtered than mine. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for a 90s child to be taking in these episodes and catching the things which I just sort of dismiss.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Very true. We ready?
For more of these moments? Do you want to do them now, or do you want to wait until later on?
Up to you guys.
I can see in your eyes you don't want to hold back on this, that you've got more 80s things you need to share with us. So let's just lead with 80s from season 4, episode 7, Too Good to Be For Real. More 80s. Yeah. Damn those that talk of less.
So the title was super 80s to me. Sam calling Diane's interest sissy French painters, quote unquote. I was like, ooh, that's an 80s way to address that. Using the M word to describe dwarfism on TV.
But at the same time, I will throw this out there. The M word was very prominent right up into the 2010s. So that was, I mean, it was of a time, but not of an 80s time. I mean, that was the whole John Mulaney bit. And yes, Stefan still used that word like regularly all through Hader's appearances. So that's right through the 21st century. I'm not sure I can give 80s on that.
That's fair. The hand gesture in Ernest doesn't feel like something we do. Diane's little, I don't even know if that Facebook is going to blur that. You can't do that. The personal ads in the Boston scene for sure. And the prospect of catfishing someone via the mail and personal ads. And then these two, preloaded pictures in wallets. That's not a thing that happens anymore. And buying. But
that was. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and lastly, buying frames specifically at Woolworths.
Yep. Do we all know what Woolworth ended up becoming?
I don't think so. No.
Your local Foot Locker.
Huh?
Woolworths started in the late 1800s. I did a little deep dive into this. Started in Utica, failed. They moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, succeeded. They were the first 5 and dime store that really basically created the model for modern retail. And they became a huge success and eventually started in the 80s was really when Woolworth started dying out. And towards the 90s, they decided to focus specifically on their sporting goods. And that was what was doing the best. And FW Woolworths became Foot Locker.
The more you know.
I did not
There
know
you
that.
go.
Huh. Yeah.
There you go. A little bit of information that will be of use to no one
To me,
until you're walking through the mall and really trying to impress someone as you pass the Foot Locker.
I'm going to take it to heart.
There you go. There you go. You're going to blow Trevor's mind when he finally takes those headphones off.
When's the last time either of you bought a wallet?
I bought a wallet. I have a wallet.
Okay. But did it come with the folding tab for pictures?
No.
With preloaded pictures?
The last time I had a wallet with the preloaded picture, oh boy. Like the last time I carried pictures in a wallet was probably like 2003-04 range, somewhere in there. Yeah. I mean, it was once the advent of really high quality cell phone cameras came into being, was sort of when the wallet pictures disappeared. When you had everything loaded onto your phone. Yeah, I don't think I know of anyone who has a wallet with pictures in it. Dave, you are probably, like, aside from somebody who is, of the greatest generation, I think Dave might be my best shot at someone who would have something like that, just for, like, I feel like you like tactile things very much. And so you like are my friend most likely to have, like, vinyl, who would want to, like, I still have a tape of Bruce Springsteen. So you don't have anything like that, do you? I feel like if you don't, I don't have a friend who has that.
I know I've surrendered the physical wallet. I'm a cell phone wallet. I'm down to like the 3 or 4 like plastic cards, no photos. I own no vinyl or record player. We have a box.
Wait a minute. This is a huge upset. You own no vinyl?
No, I've never been a vinyl person.
I'm going to tell you right now, I would have lost real money on that bet.
I have thousands of CDs.
I would have gambled some serious cash on that if someone had wanted to bet me on that. Wow.
I mean, I
bought. Am I crazy? Like, I know I've known Dave a lot longer than you have, but would you not have bet hard on vinyl?
I would have bet on cassettes.
Oh my God. Yeah. If they had been offering odds on FanDuel, I would have lost a kidney. Oh yeah.
I mean, I can say I've definitely bought a CD within the last like 2 weeks. Like I'm still doing that. But that's my medium of choice. That's the thing I've committed to, and will, I think, continue to commit to until me or the format dies.
Okay. Wow. What is it about the CD that you're committed to? Because I feel like the vinyl people, there's that story about, it's the truest sound, and because of the way it's recorded, and they like the artwork. Like, I'm not sure I know anyone else who's like, I'm committed to CDs for a practical reason.
Just because that's, like, I started in 1993 or whatever, 1992 or 1990, I guess, like buying them, and I just still have them. Like at this point, it's like a marriage that's in its 6th decade. Like nobody really likes each other, but we're stuck.
Nice. Dave was the first person I knew who had a CD player in his car.
Wow. Ooh.
That was major tech.
Fancy.
Yeah. Yep. Major tech.
Fancy.
In the trunk of the Mercury Sable had the old 6 CD changer.
Ooh. Those were a big deal.
Yes.
Those were a big deal when I was a kid. Yeah.
And how many CDs did it hold?
12. It was a 12 disc changer, if I remember.
12. Okay. It was 12. On some level, it seems so impressive, and then on another level, you're like, you got to go in the trunk to change your music. That was the height of tech.
When I bought a car that had a front-loading CD player, I was like, "This is incredible!" Like I couldn't believe I had that, and now I don't have it anymore. Like that's been taken. I had it for 12 years, and now it's been taken away again.
Yeah. Can you buy an aftermarket CD player for your car? Is that even like possible?
I have done more research than I care to talk about on that subject. And it is the consensus seems to be it's not easy nor worth it.
All right. Well, maybe we'll start a GoFundMe.
I'm not surrendering yet, but I might wait another year let the car depreciate a little bit and then start hacking away at the interior.
Perfect. All right. Season 4, episode 7. Dave, when Too Good to Be for Real came out, what was going on in our world?
Well, it premiered on November 14th, 1985. On November 15th, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10th mysterious package sent by Ted Kaczynski was received in Michigan by Professor, I got his name here, by Professor James V. McConnell and his graduate assistant Nicholas Suino. The package exploded as Ted Kaczynski's packages tended to do. Neither was killed, but both were injured by the blast. And it would be another 10 years before Kaczynski would be brought to justice. Kind of just, I forget this was such an amazingly long career he had, starting in, I think, 1977 and not apprehended until almost 20 years later. This kind of terror through the mail and cost at least 3 lives, tens of injuries, some pretty serious. He was sort of, he's not really I always think of Ted Kaczynski and the Unabomber as a 90s kind of figure, but he's very active and prevalent throughout the 80s.
All right. There you go. Shout out Teddy K. Doing bad things, but you got to at least be impressed by how long you managed to do all the awful shit. It's kind of an unprecedented run of terrorism in this country, in a country where we don't think of like domestic terrorism as a problem, much to our detriment. Here's someone who had a pretty thriving campaign going for, like I said, almost 2 decades. All right, but here's why he was bad. I'm still not totally sure what he was upset about.
He was
he was anti-tech, right?
Anti-tech, anti-deforestation, but also like anti a lot of other things.
Yeah, but it's like, I remember the picture better than anything. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. That's a problem with your campaign. Yeah. Also, Norm Macdonald did one of the best bits ever about the Unabomber. If I'm remembering this correctly on Saturday Night Live, he was the artist who created the Unabomber picture, the famous one with the hoodie with the sunglasses and that. And just like once they actually caught him, they did the whole thing about, all of his artist renderings had like big cowboy hats and huge glasses. And it in classic Norm Macdonald fashion, it only works when you see Norm Macdonald doing it. Trying to explain it, even in the voice, does not work. So look that up. It's funny. It's funny. Tookie, can you tell us about the cold open, please?
Fun fact: my late uncle was in the same graduating class at Harvard as the Unabomber.
Wow. Really?
I talked about this on Kiss 108 last year, but
oh man, sorry I missed that appearance.
So every year Harvard alumni have the option to like submit anecdotes, updates about their lives, and they send it to alumni across the country. And my uncle, before he passed in 2013, was showing me this little book, and he was like, "Hey, come look at this update from my classmate." It says, Theodore Kaczynski was awarded 6 consecutive life sentences from the U.S. federal government. Like, it's supposed to be, fun updates about accolades and life, but no, that was his prize, so to speak.
Harvard humor.
Class of 62.
That came straight out of the Lampoon.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien contributed to that.
Have you heard of the Updike couch?
No.
The Updike couch? No.
It's not. This is a family show.
Okay.
But it's a couch inside the Lampoon building. Where a certain Updike lost a piece of himself.
Well.
A card, if you will.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
My New England sensibilities are trembling.
Oh, rabbit run.
Okay. So cold open, we enter into the bar, and Sam is walking in lugging a big box, and Woody sees him and says, "Oh, let me help you with that. Sam says, oh, no, it's okay, Woody. I'm not as old as I look. And Woody says, oh, really? Diane comes up to the bar and Sam says to Sam, I don't know if this would interest you, but I have an extra ticket tonight for Jacques Brel, is alive and well and living in Paris. And Sam's like, he's not doing that underwater stuff anymore, which I guess is a Jacques Cousteau reference.
Yes.
And Diane says, ha, 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 ha. Jacques Brel was a Belgian balladeer who wrote songs of great passion and power in the 50s and 60s. And Sam says, well, you mean like Who Put the Bop in the Bop, She Bop, She Bop? Which I was gonna include as an 80s, maybe 90s movie moment, because having just watched the American Crime Story Impeachment, where Monica talks to Linda Tripp about a mix CD she made her, which includes Who Put the Bop in the Bop, She Bop, She Bop. I feel like after a certain cutoff point, it wasn't a thing. Anyways, and Diane interprets that and says, so you're busy. And Woody questions Sam, like, who put the bop? And Sam's like, yeah, you remember that? A great old song right up there with Yakety Yak. Yakety Yak. And Sam says, well, come on, you don't remember the Coasters? You don't, no, you're kidding. How about the Shirelles or the Platters? The Dixie Cups? Woody shrugs, no, sorry. And Sam says, you don't remember any of those old groups? And Woody says, oh, old groups. You mean like Devo? And Sam tosses the box back to Woody and says, maybe you better take this after all. And calls into his office. Roll credits.
Oh, I've never identified with Sam so hard. Yep, I handed over a box myself. Good for you, Sam. We've all been there. All right, an interesting week. We got the B story, which is a weird little thing. I feel like this week was just, we're breaking out some old tropes and doing them at Cheers this week. It was very interesting. The B story was Diane is taking a mime class, which she pronounces meme. I have never heard pronounced meme in my life. And I actually studied mime in theater school. And even the most pretentious of teachers did not pronounce it meme. So I don't think there's any legitimate reason for her to be doing that. I feel like that's just something the writers made up. She does some mime, which is, of course, a chance for them to make fun of her doing mime. She then brings in a mime to perform in the bar, which everyone hates. Sam ultimately kicks the French mime out. Diane ultimately gets annoyed by the mime as well, has him do the robot winding down, takes the Norm and Cliff, take the mime, forcibly throw him out, which they call mime pudding. And everyone cheers. And it's very interesting because another argument for an 80s thing but I don't know that I didn't pick it because I felt like it probably wasn't self-contained to the 80s, but violence towards mimes. Somehow a group of people, it's always okay to be physically threatening towards. It's very strange. There's a moment in Tootsie where Dustin Hoffman's character pushes the mime over in the park. And it's like this committed actor from the stage and sees a mime, pushes him over. And and it gets a huge laugh every time.
I was thinking about
a time where it's not okay to be mean about mimes.
I was thinking about that. And I was like, because that I both identified and laughed at all the times the mime was that Sam took issue with Soto the mime. And I suddenly thought, like, all right, I've been in situations as a performer where, like, somebody said, like, all right, you're going to do your improv over here in this corner, or like we're going to have like you do something over here as this party or event is happening. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants art. Nope. Nobody wants performance in a venue or a context where they're not like fully expecting it. And I get irritated when performance interrupts my day-to-day existence. I don't want it either. And mime seems to live there for some reason. That's just there's no mimatorium. Mimes just show up and you're living your life, and all of a sudden you're expected to sort of participate either as an audience or an active participant with them. I don't like it as a performer. I don't want it. And I think I'm on Team Sam on this one.
Mm-hmm. Although, as a performer who has been thrust into the uncomfortable situation of being ambient comedy, I also feel bad that I didn't sympathize with Soto a bit more. Simply in that it's like, look, I've been Soto. Like, give the fella a chance.
Read the room, Soto. No, it's not working. Like, adjust. You got to adjust.
I think why I ultimately was Team Sam and not Team Soto was Soto chose to be there. Dude, you knew it. And in any of those ambient comedy gigs, if I'd gotten there and knew they desperately didn't want me to be there and gave me an out, I would have left. I would not have foisted myself upon that audience. So, yeah, that is the B story.
The solution is never to mime harder.
Mime your little heart out. And yeah, also like a very 21st century thing is when she's pronouncing meme. I'm like, we actually have memes now.
That's a word now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spelled a little differently, but.
Yep. The A story is a very classic sitcom trope, probably done the best on The Simpsons. With Edna Krabappel and Gordie Howe writing her. Yeah. Oh, it was a great episode.
What season is that?
Oh my gosh. Somewhere in the first 10, because those are the only ones I really know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an older one.
Okay.
And I believe Edna got retired after the actress playing her passed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a standard sitcom trope of I put an ad in the personals and no one's responded. And so my friends think it's somehow going to be helpful if we create a fake person, which they name Mitch Wainwright. And I'm positive he must have pitched to the Cardinals at some point in the 70s. There's no way Mitch Wainwright didn't pitch somewhere in baseball at some point in the 20th century. They create him. They figure out, they get a picture from Norm's wallet, which is the same as the guy in the Woolworths, as we've already covered a bit in our 80s moments. They make him an international airline pilot, which I feel like also used to be a much more exotic job.
Mm-hmm.
Like airline travel just used to have so much more cachet than it does now, where no matter where you're going, no matter how amazing it is, you're still like, I got to get on a fucking plane. You could be going to Monaco to attend the Principality's new coronation, and you're still like, oh, fuck Delta. It's still so awful to get on a plane now. I don't know that anything has fallen off more in terms of just prestige than airline travel in the last 70 years. Maybe democracy, but I think airline travel is still winning. So Carla gets the letter that the guys have created for her. She is head over heels smitten with Mitch. She keeps talking about how great it is. It seems great. And then, of course, she drops the bomb that, last week I probably would have even responded to Vinnie Clausen. Wait, what? Who? I don't know how they never saw this possibility coming, but that a real person did respond to her personal ad. They need to figure out what to do. Vinnie shows up. And it's never totally clear to me. I watch it both times. Does Vinny just come on his own, or do they get in touch with Vinny to get him to come?
I think it's because she had the letter sent to Cheers. She didn't put her own
address. So he had the address. Yeah. It seemed like usually, like both times I was like, do they get him to come? Because, boy, it seems pretty bold to just show up at that address. But he has the line saying, I was hoping I would get to you before the letter did. Yeah, I like the actor who plays Vinnie Clausen. He pops up in a lot of stuff from the 80s, and that poor guy is always playing a schlub.
Oh.
But he probably owned a house because of it.
Yeah. Michael Alamo.
Because he was the go-to schlub.
Yeah, when they said that he was a funeral director, and he walked in with those long arms and like he's hunching a little bit, I was like, that's incredible. Like that's perfect casting and like just an actor understanding the assignment.
Yep. Embracing it wholeheartedly.
I felt the vibes.
And good for him. And finally, they fess up. They tell Carla that they made him up. She's furious, of course, and then gives Vinnie Clausen a second look and says, well, maybe he's not terrible. She decides to go out with him. They have a very, very funny exit where, she finds out that he also has 7 kids in addition to her 6 kids. and she asks him to pretend that he's an international airline pilot named Mitch Wainwright. And he says, sure, can you pretend that you're a Vegas showgirl named Raven? Says, you're weird. I like that theme. In the spirit that Fiend is dedicated to Soto the Mime. So it's a cliched episode. It's they're breaking out the tropes. I do think they did it pretty well for being inside of this, for being the episode where they're stuck in the meat locker. They did it well. It was good writing. I like the jokes, and it's always nice to have a real Perlman-centered episode. Heidi Perlman did not write this one, though she co-produced this one. This is a Peter Casey and David Lee episode, I think. And it was good. It was fine. It was fun. The big question for me, I'd love to get your thoughts on the overall episode, but the fact that Diane is basically asking Sam out on a date in the cold open. And it's coming off of last week, and it's never really referenced again. But it seems like this is the moment in this season where Diane is just embracing the fact that she still likes Sam. And they're still going to put each other down and do their thing and, you know, be somewhat unhealthy. But that she's really acknowledging like, oh, I'd like to go out with Sam again. I feel like this is the shift where that's becoming overt.
And she's sort of leading the on again, off again ship.
Yeah.
Steering.
Yeah, she's become the shipper.
Yeah, I hadn't
feeling that way. Yeah. Yeah, and he's kind of resisting, and then finally comes along.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's also she's not bending too far either. She's got tickets to Jacques Brel is alive and well. Like she knows it's an 80% chance he's going to say no, and she she kind of takes it. But yeah, like there is that like, all right, we've kind of like, there is a sense of like we've crossed some kind of bridge. Maybe let's just keep asking.
Tickets to Jacques Brel is alive and well. The beauty of that is it leaves her plausible deniability if she accuses him of liking her too much. If she had gotten him tickets to, the Red Sox, to the Patriots, something like that, then it's like, oh, you got a crush on me. Otherwise, why would you even have these tickets? Why would you be asking? But it feels very much like she wants to be out with him again. But because it's for Jacques Brel is alive and well in Paris, it's like, well, this is something I think could educate you and make you better, Sam. So I think that was a good choice. I like that choice. It's very much what someone who likes someone and doesn't totally want to acknowledge that they like someone would do. I've got this thing that I like. You can partake of this if you wish.
And it's building a little bit on like Diane's dream version of Sam from a couple of episodes ago.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But that's the thing. If I had an extra ticket to WrestleMania and had asked Jen, be like, you want to go to WrestleMania? And she's like, nah, I think I'm okay. All right, well, I just had an extra ticket to WrestleMania. That's something altogether different, as opposed to I've got tickets to Mary Poppins, this is very specific to things that my wife and I specifically like, as opposed to just, ladies like Mary Poppins. My wife actually very much likes Mary Poppins, so there you go.
Did she watch Hi, Jen. Hi, yeah, genuinely. Hi, and hello, viewers at home watching on the replay. But did she watch the Lin-Manuel Miranda-centric update reboot?
She did, and we both did, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I thought it was really kind of. It's tough to follow. It's tough to follow up on the original Mary Poppins. That being said, I thought, oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Who played the updated Mary Poppins?
Oh, Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
Emily Blunt, thank you. That being said, I really thought she did it about as well as it can be done. I thought she did a great job being the new Mary Poppins. Lin-Manuel, God bless him. I'm a fan.
He should just stick to writing bops like We Don't Talk About Bruno.
I think he's a brilliant. I think there are artists who are amazing at creating material for themselves. And I don't think they are as good at interpreting someone else's. And some of that is just the way a creator's mind works. And I will say, it's certainly not impossible that Lin-Manuel could absolutely crush it doing someone else's stuff. I just haven't seen it.
Mm.
You know, as I was watching that, and when you're doing the updated role of Dick Van Dyke too, it's loaded. Because it's like, all right, you're going to do Cockney, but we kind of need you to do bad Cockney, but not so bad that it's distracting. And by the way, I want to go on the record right now as saying I have no idea what good Cockney and bad Cockney sounds like. I don't know if this makes me uneducated or not. I keep hearing people do Cockney accents that are supposedly good and supposedly bad, and I can't tell the fucking difference. I have no idea. I was watching Moon Knight, which I'm really enjoying, and Oscar Isaac is doing Cockney accent.
Wait,
and I'm
why?
like, oh, wow. Well, it totally makes sense in it because he's playing two different characters and they're differentiated by their accents. And I thought he was crushing it. And then I read about it and people are like, yeah, he's doing a terrible Cockney. And Isaac's like, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I decided to just have fun with it. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were killing it, man. Sorry. I had no idea. Like John Cheadle in the Oceans movies, like, oh, he's doing an awful Cockney. I'm like, oh, I thought that was okay. And then I hear somebody else doing a Cockney accent and I'm like, that sounds exactly the same to me. I feel like I'm just one of those white trash people who would be drinking a $1,000 bottle of wine and a $5 bottle of wine and going, it's all grapes.
No.
I have no idea. I
think it's the Massachusetts in you because we can tell when somebody is doing a horrible Boston accent.
Yes.
But the casual viewer
don't you think? I feel like bad Boston accents, we don't really disagree. It's more grating for us, but no one listens to a bad Boston accent going, they're killing that Boston accent. Man, that is great. Like they all know it's bad, but it hurts us more. Bad Boston accents. I legitimately cannot tell the difference. I have no idea. When you're watching The Departed, and you hear Leonardo DiCaprio trying to do Jordan Marsh.
Terrible.
Next to like Damon killing it. Everyone knows that's bad. They're just like, all right, well, there it is. But it hurts us.
Yes.
I have no idea. I have no idea. If you were telling me that Dick Van Dyke was actually born in London, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out. Yep.
I do. There is a level there. I think that Dick Van, even as a kid, I think I knew that Dick Van Dyke's accent like didn't seem to reflect a lot of I'm going out on a limb here. Dick Van Dyke's an American treasure. I hope he lives for another million years. I never got the sense that he worked really hard on it. I got the sense of like, this is what he thinks it is. This works. It's fun. Let's just, like it. And this was perhaps a time when you could be a little bit like less sensitive to those things. Now I think maybe it's swung from, not to be like, in my day, I think maybe accent policing is swung a little bit far. The other is, like, I think Oscar Isaac's, I had the same responses. Like, this is, this is fine. This is great. And it's doing the job. And like, people are like, this is not good. I got the sense that he worked on it. Like there was a sense that there was some effort put in to try to like make it as good as it could be without making it all about a transformational experience, because he's not just playing that character. But Dick Van Dyke's to me is like, it's fun because it is such like, it's a Dick Van Dyke accent. And I'm here for that experience.
But that makes it so much harder for Lin-Manuel to try to follow that up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe I should have just been kinder to Lin-Manuel. Maybe he would kill somebody else's writing as long as it wasn't Mary Poppins. So there you go. Lin-Manuel, please still invite me to your parties. Okay.
Are we talking about Bruno yet, though? I feel like it's been a while.
Are we talking about Bruno? We don't need to.
Okay. All
right. My daughter watched Encanto 4.
We don't need to talk about Bruno.
I think we hit double digits last night.
Really?
Yeah. Whenever we leave her alone, that's like her go. She just sits down on the couch and plops on Encanto. And she's gone through it at least 10 times at this point. And we said, did you get bored? And she's like, yeah, a little bit, but I still love it. And I was like, there you go.
Nice. An interesting thing about Kyle, because I was very much that way. Like I could rewatch movies over and over again, rewatch episodes of TV as a kid. My son, Kyle, who is 9, has zero interest in rewatching something. Once it's happened, and there's more to consume. And most of what he wants to consume is just people watching, like, influencers playing video games on YouTube. That's most of what it's not like he's like, no, there's more Shakespeare. I have more there's more growth in the world. So I don't want to give that impression. And he's like, I've sucked all the marrow from that bone. But yeah, like that idea of, hey, you want to rewatch Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse? He's like, nah, it's okay. Like even movies that he says, like, that was my favorite movie. I'm like, all right, do you want to watch Sonic again? No, it's okay. It's fine.
Yes.
Like he's seen it. He's done. He's done. I mean, I used to rewatch like the Mount Snuffleupagus episode of Sesame Street every time it was on. I'm like, it's happening again. And he had zero interest in rewatching anything he had seen before. He's on to new stuff.
We had no choice, though.
Yeah, that is definitely a part of it. So look, this is the VHS tape we have right now.
Have either of you at least introduced your children to Placido Flamingo?
Oh, we saw Placido Flamingo.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Genius.
Great.
So
I just want to spread the good word.
I almost feel like I put too much pressure on Sesame Street. Like we definitely had a decent Sesame Street run, but I kept like gushing about it so much that he's like, dude, settle down. Like I was like a girl at a BTS concert. I'm like, this is amazing. Don't you appreciate this? Look at this. Look, Cookie Monster doing Les Miserables. This is incredible. And he's like, it's fine. It's fine. Relax. Okay.
Give it a couple of years.
Okay. All right.
Give it a couple of years.
I'm getting very excited about like now that he's 9, we're creeping up on an age where I can start showing him some of my favorite trash and favorite old stuff. And I'm hoping that he likes it. Like I'm really anxious. He still hates blood, so we're still probably at least 2-3 years away from Bloodsport. But I feel like
it's in the title, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm aware. Yeah, it was fun. Facebook memory popped up during quarantine. I introduced Jen to Bloodsport for the first time. She had never seen it. Like she's just lived in a cultural wasteland. And I showed it to her. That was a fun night of quarantine. And I said, someday soon, you buddy. He's like, not now.
Well, I mean,
like,
okay.
I feel like I'm threatening him with a good time.
Listen, Kyle might not be old enough yet for Bloodsport, but he's definitely in the pocket for No Retreat, No Surrender.
No, I would not do that to my child.
It's wholesome.
Never.
It's a good, wholesome film.
It's terrible. But that is, okay, No Retreat, No Surrender versus Bloodsport is a perfect example of quality trash versus pure trash. No Retreat, No Surrender is bad. Like, there's no attempt in there to be good. There's no through line. There's no understanding of what's happening. Bloodsport is like, look, we're doing our best. We're really doing our best. No Retreat, No Surrender was like, we're doing this as fast as possible. Other people are enjoying things that are similar to this, and we're just going to rip them off as fast as we can.
Getting one-on-one training from the ghost of Bruce Lee is not quality entertainment to you, Mike?
It could have been with effort.
No Retreat, No Surrender is available on YouTube for anybody who's morbidly curious.
Oh, completely free? People aren't paying for that? Oh, I'm shocked. All right. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, we got to get through some categories here. We don't have a ton of time left. Joke of the week. I really loved Woody.
Mike, you're frozen.
To the mime. Uh-oh.
Oh, technology.
Am I back?
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're good.
Joke of the week. I loved Woody talking to Soto when Soto started talking, and
I love these moments.
He spoke. It's a miracle.
Are we all frozen?
I think Tookie's just frozen. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I got you good.
Yeah, I think that's you, Tookie. Yeah, everyone's moving and looking fine and sounding okay on my end.
Okay, great. I'm back.
This is the person who's become so drunk she thinks she's the only sober one.
What?
Have you been to that party?
No.
Hey, you guys, you have a problem. You're not allowed to drive home.
Gasp.
You're
couldn't be me.
So yeah, he spoke. It's a miracle. I enjoyed that very much.
That was fun.
Yeah. Tookie, your joke of the week.
Oh man. I've got 2. In second place, when the guys are lamenting the fact that they messed up in trying to catfish Carla. Sam says, guys, how come we didn't see this one coming? And Diane says, oh, this from a group of men who every year fail to see winter coming. So that was my number 2. Number 1 is when Sam says that Carla's received a letter. This is the first time before we learn of Mitch Wainwright's name and such. Says, oh, it looks like a letter for Carla Tortelli. And Carla's excited. Oh, give it to me, give it to me. Sam says, oh, what's the magic word? And Carla says, gelding. And it caught me so off guard, I squawked.
Nice.
That was good.
That's a good one. Dave, your joke of the week.
It's not perhaps a scripted joke, but Sam's reaction when he sees Soto, he sees Soto comes in and does like a quick mime routine. Sam looks up, we see Sam see Soto, and he just says, "Oh no." I laughed every single, and he carries that energy throughout in all his dealings with Soto, even as he's trying his best. You can see the bile rising in his throat, and it just tickled me every single time. Like this is not for him, and upset by it and dismayed by it as a business owner who's got to host this 3-hour mime. Loved it. That oh no.
Well done. Tookie, how white was this week's episode?
It's an improvement from the week before, but they reused a lot of the same extras, so I can't necessarily count some people twice. So in the cold open, we have a black man and woman hanging out together in the back wall by the square house sign. Scene 1, it's the same black couple that we see. And then there's another black woman in blue who passes from behind Diane coming out of the pool room. It's very quick. Scene 2, there was a black couple at the back wall, but not the same folks. And then a black man with a Burberry scarf who just saunters, like he makes an entrance with that scarf. And he goes to sit down. A black man who passes by the front of the bar. And then scene 2A, if you will. There was a black woman in green to the left of Sam sitting at the bar, and the Burberry man sitting at the bar again, a black man who passed behind the mime, and an Asian woman hanging out at the back wall with a friend. And then in scene 3, again, a repeat of some of the extras where there was the same black man sitting with a friend near the front of the bar, but he passed by earlier. He's sitting at the front. A black woman sitting with a friend underneath the Melville stairs. Burberry man is back at the bar. And who I interpreted to be possibly Middle Eastern, someone from the Levant. A woman by the liquor closet, the wine cellar stairs, talking with the same black woman in green from earlier who was sitting next to the left of Sam.
That green I liked that green top she had.
Yeah, that was a good look.
Yeah.
And then a black woman from the intro of the cold open sitting at the corner of the bar, and next to her right was an Asian man. Yeah. So we have, I believe, without counting some repeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people of color this episode.
Okay.
Not bad.
Shout out to a great scarf.
That was such a good scarf.
Amanda can really pull off a good scarf. It's so impressive. Like a nice scarf can really really turn something plain into something very, very fancy and nice. Yeah. I might be entering the scarf period of my life.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you guys catch the extra who was not a person of color but did resemble Edgar Allan Poe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was trash and all.
Yeah, I was tracking that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, very quickly. Sam creepy quotient. Fairly low this week.
Pretty low.
Yeah. Pretty low. There's like a couple of asides to Diane, but nothing, for Sam, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a low energy
Sam creepy quotient.
Yeah. It's a low energy Ted Danson week, which usually results in a low creepy quotient.
Yeah. 4.8 is what I give it.
I could support 4.8.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he always comes in around a 5. That seems about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's low.
And we've got a rare, semi-rare Boston specific moment, some
Ooh.
Boston energy, where Norm saw a guy choking in the common and didn't help him.
No, good call.
Feels
Good
very
call.
Boston.
Very Boston energy.
Yeah.
Very Boston energy.
Absolutely.
Nice. All right. So how are we feeling about this week's episode? It feels like it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It feels like there's just going to be a big block of middle episodes this season.
Yeah, I like this was given the events of today. I was really grateful to settle into what felt like an archetypical sitcom. So I thought this was a really good example of that, like the letter sent by your friends to convince you that somebody's interested. It was really nice to have a good version of the half an hour to turn your brain off.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this week's episode. I cast no aspersions upon it.
I would say, oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say there's something about like the 60s and 70s where they said, look, we're a sitcom and we do 25 episodes. We all just kind of agree that we're all okay with us reusing certain tropes. It was almost like vaudevillian where they're going, all right, now we're going to do Who's on First. And then at some point, somebody just crushes it and they go, all right, well, we're going to retire that. I don't fault it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I would say this edges slightly out of the middle, like middle being 5. This is like a 5.3 because it's tropey, but it's so well handled and so well written and well acted that it takes it just slightly out of the middle trope area.
Yeah.
I think that's a good assessment.
I like a Rhea Perlman focused. Like I think for me, like she handles being the center and better than like Cliff or Norm does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's always so nice. I like Rhea Perlman when she gets to have more physicality in an episode, where she's just kind of like jumping up on the stools and like she's such a talented physical actress. I really love her. There's going to be at some point the cold open where she's dancing her way through the bar, and it's one of my favorite cold opens. I really love it. That's coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, anything to plug this week, kids?
I've temporarily fled to Mexico, but testing and customs willing, I should be back at the hideout this next Saturday. So that's a thing. And I'm no longer dying from grape nut poisoning.
Oh, good. Have you been to the doctor? This really feels like it was beyond grape nuts. Like, I'm not trying to defend that cereal, but boy, like I don't know that one bowl of cereal will linger that long. Like, even as someone who's had food poisoning, once it's out, it's pretty much over.
Yeah. No, I'm on an antacid regimen and everything. It's great. All is well.
Okay, good. All right, very good. I am at the world famous comedy studio on Friday for 2 shows, 8 and 10, at Vera's in Somerville and Union Square, which is now T accessible. So come on out and check it out. I think it's going to be a good lineup, and we're going to have some fun. So there you go. Come on out, check it out. All right, buy Dave's album. Send Tookie some money on her Venmo to pay for her trip in Mexico. When are we starting our Patreon, and what can we offer people specifically so that they start paying us for all this high quality content? We're going to figure it out.
Top tier, is a personal tarot reading.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I don't do it. We're going to just get somebody to read your tarot cards.
I applied for a job reading tarot over the phone when I lived in LA when I really needed a job, and I got turned down.
Sorry. Because
I would not pretend to have any actual powers, and they didn't like that. Are you psychic? I was like, no, but I feel very empathic. And that was where I tried to sneak in. I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of different. And I was like, all right, no, I'm not getting this job. I felt like tarot I could kind of justify. I'm like, look, if you want to believe these cards, that's up to you. I'm just going to tell you what they are in a very pleasant, serious voice. So there you go. LA, it was a special time. All right. We need to say goodbye. So yeah, we'll let you know what our Patreon is going to be. We're probably not going to start one. But now that I say it out loud, it's like, hey, somebody might give us some money. So fuck it. Well, if you have suggestions for what you would like, if you want to be a paid Patreon supporter, let us know. Our DMs are open. We are completely open to it. If it's maybe little pieces of Dave's beard, we can make that happen. Anything, as long as you pay us. which is a slogan that I'm hoping my son never hears. All right, that's Dave. That's Tookie. I'm Mike. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next week.